welcome to our life. Today is all about learning to love yourself despite the disability you might have or what you look like. So before we start peeling back some layers, I want to give you a removing the mask fact. Were you aware that self-esteem has 3 different types? Inflated, high, and low. Inflated is something we don't hear normally, but inflated is an individual that thinks or knows they're better than everybody and won't have a doubt in their mind to underestimate another person. So when we return, I will have my first guest with me, which will be Miss Kim Mason, and we'll start removing the mask. So we'll be right back. We're back, and I have my favorite person with me, Miss Kim Mason, the CEO of Women Cultivating Greatness. Thank you for coming out and hang with me. She's also one of my sponsors, so I'm happy to have you here with me today. How are you?
I am good, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
I love having you. Women Cultivating Greatness, October 2019, Diva Day, 10 years. We're going to talk about that.
Yes.
You're in the helping women get unstuck.
Yes.
So let's get started a little bit. You always have this saying, let's start with this. Tell us about your journey of being dyslexic, because you have a saying, I am great in spite of, works with ADHD and all of that. Tell me about when you were diagnosed with being dyslexic.
Yeah. They did not start dyslexic testing until 1980. And so I'm kind of dating myself, but by that time I was in high school. So I went many years undiagnosed, struggling through classes, always scoring on tests, 1 grade or 2 grades, behind. I did not find out that I was dyslexic and ADD until I was 30. And I was in a class at the University of Houston, and a lady sitting next to me named Amanda was looking at my notebook, and she said, "Are you dyslexic?" And I was like, "What is that? What are you talking about?" And she said, "It's a learning differently. It's just a way of learning differently, and you're born with it." And I was like, and so she directed me to the University of Houston Learning Disability Center, tested, found out everything, that I have a processing disorder along with dyslexia and ADD. And I went back to class the next day, because I wanted to thank Amanda for finally putting, I finally had something to say, why I was going through all these struggles with school. And she didn't come to class. Next time, she didn't come to class. I went to the professor and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a student named Amanda." And he said, "There's never been an Amanda enrolled in this class."
Oh, wow.
And so I think that was God's way of finally telling me what I had been struggling with.
So once you realized you were diagnosed dyslexic, did you go back to your younger days and say, "Oh, I was doing this, I was doing that"?
Yes, yes. It was just amazing, because for one, it took the shame off, and I was able to take my mask off finally, to realize that this is something you're born with. It affects you all of your life. But still, I'm amazing, right?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So because there are strategies, and because I didn't know any strategies, I kind of made them up myself. Kids are really resilient, and this has been affecting me since the 3rd grade. That's when I noticed it. So, yeah.
Tell us about, because you're starting a program coming up this year. Is it starting this year?
It's going to start in January.
In January, and it's I Am Great in Spite Of.
Yes.
And that's for dyslexic.
Yes,
right?
Dyslexic, ADD or ADHD. It's for adults, because nowadays they have all the testing and everything you need in the schools, but once you become an adult, you don't really have any help. And still today, 30% of people are never diagnosed. And they just go through life wondering, what's wrong? And so the I Am Great program is going to be a series of 7 classes taught by people who have a certification in teaching differently. Because if you put something in my hand and I'm able to associate it with learning, I pick it up a lot better. Reading a paragraph backwards, I understand it better.
And I couldn't do that.
Yeah, but it's very easy for me. Like, I can have music in this ear and someone talking in this ear. Sometimes I put 2 plugs in and simultaneously I can understand both of them.
Oh, wow, wow. You have your 10-year anniversary of Divas Day coming up October 5th. Tell us about that.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I started Divas Day a long time ago before I even became a nonprofit organization, Women Cultivating Greatness. And it started out in my home, where I invited 15 ladies over, because you know how you always say, oh, let's get together for lunch, let's do this, but time and children, and you never get to do it. And so we had a wonderful time that night, and then the next day they said, I really needed that, and when are you going to do it again? So I said, I'll do it a year from now.
Yeah.
And so then I decided to invite speakers in my home to discuss things that are important to women, time management, organization, things like that. And it was 33 women in my house. And so then we moved to the subdivision clubhouse. And now we're at the Hilton Garden Inn, where where we've been for 5 years.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that on October 5th. So, Ms. Kim, before we go, give me one word that you would tell someone else that's dyslexic, that's scared to remove their mask on that.
Yeah, just to be persistent. There are things out there that you can do to help yourself, strategies, and that you were made perfect.
Okay. All right. Well, when we return, I'll have a little entertainment for the show, so we'll be right back.
Hello, hello, hello. I just stopped by to remind you of how fabulous you are, how wonderful you are, how God made you to do wonderful and miraculous things in the world.
All right, everybody, we are back, and I have a little entertainment with me today. I have the poet Miracle is here, and I have is it Christine or Christina?
Christina Dene.
Christina Dene. I'm gonna say Miss Dene with me here, and she's a songbird. So I'm gonna start with Miss Dene. What inspired you to do songs to encourage women? Because when I met you, that's what attracted me, because all the words from the song that you were singing that day was like geared to women and empowerment and encourage. What inspired you to do that?
What inspires me is now just being a woman and a mother, is just knowing that struggle is just not one dimensional. Encouragement is not one dimensional. Restoration, all these things are just not one-sided, and we sometimes feel like that when we're going through. So with me, in my music, I always channel in what's true and what I've experienced, and because I'm very observant, and just what I've seen people go through, whether it's the women in my family, the friends, that are women, that I've grown up with, that's going through several different, things. So with me, it just inspires me just to let them know that, hey, I see, I understand, I went through that too, but just put it in something lyrical where you can enjoy the message but still have a good time. So.
When did you start singing? At what age?
I started...
Because you're from Louisiana.
Yes.
Lafayette, is it right?
Yes, Lafayette.
I'm from Opelousas.
Yeah, okay. Hey.
Right up the street.
Right. I started writing at 19. My background is not a kid that was in talent shows or plays. It just was something that I just struck up.
Did you always know you could sing?
When
Because you know, we all think we can sing.
Right. Now, as a kid, I was always going to be a singer, so that was something that I said, you know.
But did you have did you know you could carry a note to say you're going to be a singer? Because everybody, I feel I could be a singer too.
You know,
I can sing with a group, but I can't sing by myself. So this is different.
I think it came much later, like when I really started at 19. I think I really, you know, heard myself, and everything that I've sang, performed, I've written myself. So that also was some revelation, like, wow, you know, I can put these emotions into words. And as far as just my sound, that just came with time. But I knew I had something going on when people started saying, like, oh, wow, you know, it's just a person. I just started really tapping into it. But, yeah, definitely.
Miracle the poet.
Indeed.
My friend.
Hi.
For about 4 years now. What and when did you decide to start doing poetry?
I decided towards the end of my marriage. So when we separated at year 8, I kept hearing him telling me, you know, you should get on stage. You should, you know, talk to the people because you have something to say. So when I was by myself in solitude, literally me and my kids, 1 bedroom, 2013.
Oh, wow.
Because I was so afraid to do it on my own after being married for 8 years, you know, accustomed to 2 incomes. And so at that time, I started my self-seeking, self-journey, discovering me, taking off the layers, picking up the pen, saying, okay, you have something to say. Now mold who you're going to be when you get on the stage. And so my kids would video me and say, okay, mama, my arms are tired. Okay, help me again. I need help.
So would 2013 be the year you would say you knew that was your calling?
I knew that was my calling. So I just kept writing night and day. And eventually about 2 years ago is when I got on stage and did my thing.
And you've been on stage ever since?
Ever since.
Ever since.
Man, growth is everything.
What would both of you say your self-esteem levels have been? Have they always been like up and down, or have you always had high self-esteem? Are you inflated that you know you better than everybody else?
No.
Are you, I don't think neither one of you have low self-esteem, but
no, but the journey I went through as a young child, I was diagnosed with scleroderma, and that was a skin disease that affected my face, my hands. So that took me through a journey of, you know, always holding my hands. You may not see it now, but I went through a lot, like skin tightening, my skin, you know, don't do all of that. So then I overcame that only to get into a marriage and be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Bring me back down. But now when you look within self, you can find yourself and build confidence and embrace that. And I overcame low points with praying and confidence.
Okay. What about you?
For me, I think, well, I know the root of it all. You know, we have that storyline of, you know, daddy's issues. You know, I never had a active father in my life, so my self-esteem really triggered from a very young age, and it lasted into several years of my adulthood. But I think I got to a place. Well, I'm not gonna say think. I know I got to a place where I was tired of being sick and tired, and I had to take ownership of where I was right there.
Okay.
Broken, insecure, lost, jacked up, however you want to describe it. And then I went from there, because you can't move forward until you acknowledge where you are.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I had to, my self-esteem, you know, just from the Most High, like I had to literally like cry out and say, remove everything that's not of you, so I can function and be present in the things that you want to do. And that just, I lost weight inside, lost weight outside, and it was just a renewing that I've had. You know, I'm 34 now, and I'm grateful, but I understand that, you know, what freedom is now, and I'm not no longer binded by those things that helped me for a really long time. So I've always dealt with self-esteem issues as a young girl, but when you're an adult, it's like, okay, like what is the problem? What is the root? And I had to really dig deep to snatch that out so I can flourish.
Okay. So when we return from this quick break, we're gonna have Miss Danae, and she's gonna blow us out of the house with one of her strong empowerment songs. What's the name of the song you're gonna be singing?
The song is titled Freedom.
Oh, Freedom. Most definitely. So we'll be right back. right, guys, we're back, and I want you to help me welcome Miss Christina Dene as she gives us a little freedom.
Thank you. Hey, had to fight for my life. Oh, had to fight. Hot mess, yeah, your girl was all over. Emotions up and down like I'm on a roller coaster. Rejection and depression, it's all I ever knew. Suppressing what I'm feeling, too scared to face the truth. Overstressing and can't clear my mind. Hard for me to function cause of sleepless nights. I don't know who I am, so I try to understand. On a search for self-love, try to find it through a man. So here I am, bust down and looking foolish. Wasted so much time, I should've knew it. Operating with the wrong tools. In a rush and trying to force it, didn't see it through. Pouring from my empty cup, I don't have nothing left. According to his word, he said he'll give me rest. The Lord is near who called. I surrender all, crying out, Lord, set me free. I can't take this misery. I want your will and not my own. I've been running far too long. Here I am, God set me free. I can't take this misery. This is my freedom song. This is my freedom song. Hey, I feel a little lighter, the sun's a little brighter, his peace is my desire, on top of that I'm wiser. Let's talk about the weapon formed against me, but they never prosper, no. See, I'm well on my way, and I'm moving on. Learn to cast my cares to him, I put him on the throne. See, I'm standing here today because of grace he's shown. I give him all the glory. See, that's the story of God's loving kindness, how the Holy Spirit guides us in our blindness. No comparison to man, cause he's righteous. I wouldn't trade this joy I feel, cause it's priceless. Everything that I've gone through made me the woman I am today. No longer leaning on my understanding, I'm gonna walk it out in faith. And now I understand it's purpose in it all, to sing my testimony in front of you all, crying out, he set me free. You can't take this joy from me. Everything he is, I am, according to my Father's plan. I am right where I belong, gonna praise him all day long. This is my freedom song. This is my freedom song. If you know what bondage is, you'll understand freedom. If you know what bondage is, you'll understand freedom. If you know what bondage is, you'll understand freedom. This is my freedom song. This is my freedom song. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, Christina Dene, thank you so very much for that. That was powerful. Guys, we'll be right back, and I'll have Mr. Farrell Phillips with me and one of his fantastic models. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and I have Mr. Farrell Phillips. For real.
Actually, that's Farrell Phelps.
Why would I
Farrell
say Phillips?
Phelps. That's okay. I know how to get you right.
He is a celebrity photographer, you guys, here in Houston. I've been doing photographs and his own talk show for a very long time. He's done documentaries, books. So we're going to talk about many things with you. But I want to start off by saying thank you first for being here with us today. We have you and one of your lovely models. We're going to talk to her shortly. But tell us, I want to jump in and tell us about Freedom Town's documentary that you...
Freedmanstown, the Freedmanstown documentary project. Yeah, all of my projects are inspired in some kind of way. In 2015, I went to a rally in Freedmanstown. They were trying to save the history that had been lost through gentrification in that particular community, which had basically expired, was gone. There's very few things, or very few remnants of what was there. And the Freedmanstown area was an area that was occupied by former slaves after the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. They traveled to Houston, took up land right outside of downtown Houston, and that area became Freedmanstown. It was an area where the city allowed the former slaves to have it because it was deemed invaluable land. They didn't care about it. It was swamp land, this, that, and the other. But the slaves, being as resourceful as they were, cut down trees, created timber, built their homes right there in that area. And it became a self-sustaining community with tons of businesses in that community that was started by African Americans at that time. But through gentrification, the community over years has been lost. So I wanted to basically go back in time and recreate what slavery and what life was like for them when they first arrived. And that's what I did in the Freedmanstown documentary project. The best way that I can describe it, if you think of the movie Roots, and you see all the characters, the homes, the way the things were. I recreated that very scene, and I took it back. So I dressed people as slaves, and I took them back to that area and photographed them as if it was existing today.
Wonderful, because your photos and how you photograph people is like amazing.
Thank you.
To me. Tell us about the newest project that you've been doing for about a year now.
Yeah,
so,
for 2 years
the
now.
Skin I'm In project. Tell us about that. What inspired you to do that project? I know you brought the book with you as well.
I did. And this is the actual book. The book is entitled Skin Deep, The Skin I'm In. And like I said a moment ago, I'm always inspired to do projects just like the Freedmanstown project. And you mentioned when we were off camera that I'm a talk show host as well.
Yeah.
And I was asked to come to Germany 3 years ago now to interview the Princess of Stuttgart. And when I got to Germany, of course they were taking me to all these elaborate dinners and breakfasts and all this really incredible stuff. On my last day there, our waiter was an extremely dark gentleman, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I'm like, wow, look at his melanin, that's amazing. I was all hyped and excited about it. And then I was a brother, and I'm in Germany. I hadn't seen no black folks there. And I was like, oh, there's a brother, you know what I'm saying? And so anyway, I said to the person that I was there to interview, I said, wow, look at his melanin. Isn't that off the chain? That's like super cool. I'm just all excited. And she said to me in that moment, if it was midnight, we wouldn't be able to see him. And it was followed by a few other prejudicial remarks that I did not like. And I'm a black man 24/7. Just because I'm in Germany, no matter where I'm at, I'm black. I might not be real dark, but I'm black. And so I said to her in that moment, I go, isn't it amazing how God created each one of us in his likeness, yet each one of us is different? So if God created it, who are you to make these types of remarks about it? I had an 18-hour flight back to the States. All I could think about, Monique, was that comment and what was just spoken to me. And so it inspired me to do the project, The Skin I'm In. So I went on Facebook and I typed it in locally here for a Houston audience. I'm looking for people with light complexions, dark complexions, nevas, eczema, vitiligo, any kind of skin type and skin condition you can imagine. I did it for the Houston area, but it went viral, literally all over the world. To India and Africa and all over the United States. So as a result of that, the models that are in the project fly in from all over the world to be in the project. Yes, and I have one model that's here
Yes, Miss
with me today.
Crystal. How let me start talking to you a little bit here. How did you feel when you were diagnosed with vitiligo?
When I was diagnosed with vitiligo, I was scared.
Because you were young, like 13.
I was 13, yes. So I was a little scared. I was kind of scared that people were going to talk about me, bully me. I already had low self-esteem, so that kind of added to it. So, I mean, I pretty much just went like 3 times a week to the dermatologist trying to figure out how to get it cured.
When did your mindset change on how you looked and how people viewed you? When did that
My
all
first
change?
day of 9th grade, which was literally probably a couple of months after I got diagnosed. I knew that I didn't want to wear makeup because I played sports. So what I did was when I went to school, I was just like, okay, so this is me. I have to deal with it. And when I went in, everybody greeted me and thought I was so pretty. So
And you are.
thank you.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful. What would you
Thank
say
you.
to another woman, a young lady that's going through that? I was just newly diagnosed with vitiligo.
It's a unique skin disorder. It's not as fun, but at the end of the day, it's who you are. It's something that was given to you to better you.
Exactly.
I feel like, because I had low self-esteem prior to getting vitiligo, and vitiligo was what caused me to build my self-esteem. It's created who
Okay.
I am today. I tried to run from it, but I couldn't. I didn't get far. But embrace it, because everybody's different, and it's okay.
Okay. Tell us before we end this segment. Tell us about the Skin I'm In project event
The
in
gala.
September. Tell us
in
about
which
that.
you will be in the house.
Yes, I will. I
There we go.
will.
So you can set it
I
on
will.
national TV now.
Yes,
We
I
see you
will. I will
in
be
the
there.
house.
I will be there in September.
You know, this event is actually the climax of the entire project. This is the finale, and this is my second year doing it. So at the end of the project, we do a humongous gala, and it's the Skin I'm In Gala. It takes place September the 7th at the prestigious Buffalo Soldiers Museum in downtown Houston. It is a black tie affair, and it's also a wearable arts affair. So you have an option on your attire that you can wear for that particular evening. And it's where all the models fly in from all over the country. They come back to Houston again for this big night under one roof. And it's not only an exhibition, but it's a production. And it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. This year, our VIP guest is going to be international artist Frank McComb. He will be our VIP entertainment. And it's just an incredible evening. Incredible evening. You get to hear some of the testimonies of the models, what they've gone through living in the skin they're in, based on how the world has treated them and or mistreated them as well. And it's just incredible. Phenomenal evening.
Well, I
Phenomenal
want to
evening.
definitely tell you thank you for being here. I want you guys to check out Mr. Farrell E. Phelps. I was going to say it right.
I was going to help a sister out. I was going to make sure she get my
Check
name
him
right.
out. Check out the Skin I'm In project. And we will be returning with our last segment, which is our makeover. So we'll be right back. We're back now, guys, in our last segment, and that is our makeover segment. So I'm super excited about that. So I want to introduce my guest I have here with me. I'm going to start off with Miss Tamisha Hunter. So we have Miss Tamisha Hunter, the CEO, the CEO of Women Like Us, that's cutting up in my house today. We have Miss J of All Made Up by Jay is here with us. We have our fabulous guest that has been made over, Miss Nikki, all the way from Dallas, Texas, here with us. And we have Miss Marie, Sessions Boutique. Class is always in session, so I want you guys to give our guests a hand clap here. Thank you guys for all coming. I'm going to start with this troublemaker here in my house.
Why do I have to be a
Because you
troublemaker?
have been cutting up. My love, Tamisha Hunter. How are you?
I'm well.
You
How
are
you?
the CEO of Women Like Us. You're a survivor of domestic violence. You're a life coach. Just graced the cover of a magazine in Dallas. So, you are amazing.
To God be
And
the glory.
you are an amazing testimony when it comes to domestic violence, for one. What inspires you to work with young girls and women? Because you've been doing it for a while.
What inspired me was mainly I didn't want girls to feel like I felt as I was growing up. I didn't want them to feel like they were a nobody. Because as I was growing up, I felt like I was a nobody. I felt like I was a black sheep of the family. No one loved me, and no one should ever feel that way.
And your self-esteem at that time, is it safe to say, was low?
It was low. It was very low. I didn't see value in myself. I didn't know who I was. I didn't allow myself to become who I should have been at that age. I always tried to put myself into relationships not only with girls but also boys because I wanted to feel wanted, I wanted to feel loved, and I allowed them to define who I was because my self-esteem was so low.
How important is it for adults to talk to young girls properly? Because you did I don't know where you were, but you were doing a class and you had the young girls stand in front of a mirror and say say what they liked about themselves or what they saw when they looked at themselves in the mirror. So how important is it for adults to speak properly to young ladies?
I think what I feel is though I think adults should speak because it starts at home first, and I think that it's very important that parents speak positive information to their children. If they have a young girl, tell them that they're beautiful, they're smart, they're intelligent, they can conquer the world. If they're a young boy, say that he's a young man, he's strong, he's intelligent, because those words will follow them throughout their lives, which will empower them, which will give them the strength that they need as they grow to start becoming and shaped and formed to who God created them to be by allowing their parents to shape and mold them at that age. So probably the segment that you saw was it was a girls' workshop, and I had the girls stand in front of the mirror to tell the 3 things about themselves or what they liked about themselves. Well, not like, more so loved. And it was very hard for the girls to say that. Most of the girls was like they didn't feel like they were beautiful. They felt like something on their face was ugly just because of the environment that they were in or what they were being told or because they were bullied. So they didn't see the value in themselves when they looked in the mirror.
Oh, wow. So you have been working with Miss Nikki. We have Miss Nikki here with us today, all the way from Dallas, Texas. First of all, thank you for coming. You've been working with Miss Nikki for how long now?
How long is it? Probably about 6 months.
September will be a year.
Be almost
It'll
a
be
year. But
almost
she's
a year.
part of my Slay Academy.
Okay.
That's part of an extension for women like us. So the Slay Academy is help forming them to be who they are, transforming them, building their confidence and self-esteem for them to be able to walk boldly in who they are.
Okay. When did you started, you want to be a model?
Yes.
So when did you do modeling and acting? When did you figure out that it was your purpose in life?
When I was a very young age, very young. I used to do little modeling and pageants. I did a lot of pageants when I was little, and I always knew I wanted to do it. And I was always, when I graduated, even in my adult life, in particular, one of my jobs at the hospital, they did a training with us to, how to talk to troubled patients, different things. And they wanted me to be the mean nurse. Okay. Well, after so after that, and then even then people was like, well, do you not feel like that's a gift for you because you made it look so easy? And I'm like, are you calling me mean? But after that, I'm like, okay, I knew inside that that's what I wanted. Then to hear somebody else saying that I did it good, even though that's not what I want as a mean person, it's like, okay, maybe that's a word from God saying, okay, you can do this, just put something towards it. So after I got older and as an adult, had kids and everything, it's like, okay, I just put myself behind. Of course, after gaining weight and things, and then I felt like, okay, well now the industry, nobody wants a plus size model because they make it look like you have to be the perfect Coke bottle size to model. And so now my boys, both of them just graduated college, so they're out of the house, they're gone. So now I felt like, oh, okay, this is my time. And I talked to my husband about it and everything. And he said, yeah, baby. He said, that's what you want to do. And I'm like, well, okay. I know the perfect person. The perfect.
Summation.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly. And working with her, I'm telling you, I'm her troubled teen.
Woo!
I'm her troubled teen.
Yes.
Because you don't really realize, like she said, with these young girls, also as an older person, an adult, you don't realize you do have a low self-esteem. You think you like yourself because you're in a comfort zone. You don't realize until people like her start saying, oh, well, girl, let's get you out of that all black all the time.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. Let's get you outside of this, you know, and everything. And it's like, oh, okay, so now when she allowed me to open up my comfort zone, it's like, oh, that's not so bad letting somebody else in and help me out and show me what I have to offer. And everything.
Getting their side,
And
getting that good
yes.
point of view. What would you say? What would be one thing you would say to someone else that has a self-esteem problem?
Oh, definitely be open to change. Definitely, especially if it's somebody that's positive, that's on your side. Definitely be open to change and just let them in to help you. Open that door up, because I knew I loved myself, but I didn't know I loved myself, if it makes sense.
It makes sense.
If it makes sense. I didn't
makes
realize, oh, you didn't. You were down in yourself more than you thought somebody else was. So, yeah, definitely open yourself up, because I'm a person who didn't like change. I'm a person, I was in my own little circle, and that's it. Definitely, if you just give somebody a chance that you know it's positive, that's trying to help you, let them help you, your next level is amazing.
That's right. all right.
Amazing.
That's some good words of advice. So we did a makeover.
Yes.
So I we did,
What was that joke for?
we did a makeover on you, and you guys will see some before pictures, but we have the after product sitting here right with us. So your hairstylist was Angela Reed from Radiant Styles.
Yes,
she
ma'am.
could not be here with us today. I was surprised. I was telling Jay this morning when she was doing my makeup, I said, well, I didn't get no phone call from Angela, so I think we might be safe. Get no phone call from Angela. So Angela told me a little bit of what she did with your hair. So how did you like your hair?
I love it. I mean, I never would have thought I would have turned out like this, because like her this morning, I'm like,
Yeah, she's
okay,
so
I don't want it cut. I just want this.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm
probably was like,
I promise you, I could hear her in the background.
Yeah.
Girl, if you don't let this girl do your hair.
I would say.
But I just told her, I said, honey, I said, I'm at the level where I am actually opening up. I said, whatever you do, do it, because I'm used to having just a ponytail and go. None of this
And
right
you
here.
weren't gonna get that today.
And can I say something on that?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I told her that she might have to get her haircut, because the last time we had, did a makeover, well, she did a photo shoot, she didn't want to get her haircut. So when I told her she may have to get her haircut again, because she sent me her photos of her hair, she said, well, I just got my hair in a ponytail from the last time it got cut, and I just not did. And I could have threw that phone at the floor. And I'm like,
Like I said, I didn't get no phone call
Right.
from Angela Reed this morning. So I was like, okay, we might be working with grease.
Yes.
So you also was styled by the one and only Miss Marie Cropper from Sessions
Yes.
Boutique. Style class is always in session.
Always in session. Yes, yes.
So tell us, first of all, what part does wardrobe play when it comes to your self-esteem?
Wardrobe plays a major part into when it comes to styling clients or putting them in items, because the first thing we start with at Session Boutique is what you're most fearful of. And that's what we're going to put you in, because the idea is to get you outside of the box. And so this is my second time working with Nikki. It has been an amazing experience, and so we want to do like a very sexy fitted look to kind of show off her shoulders, her shape, and just the classiness that she exudes constantly. And the hair and makeup, just absolutely wonderful. So
did she tell you that she wasn't gonna wear a certain color? Or you just
well,
Which one?
we have actually grown a great relationship, and so we talk. We have profile cards. We update the profile cards to make sure that we stay up to date as far as where she is, like what's going on, how much more we can push you.
Yeah.
And so last photo shoot we did, I think more darker. We want to do more color this time, and so it just worked out great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And last but not least, all made up by Jay. 8 years, celebrity makeup artist.
Yes.
She does my makeup.
Yes.
I love you. I love you too. Tell us a little bit about All Made Up with Jay, and then tell us what is the important role does makeup play, as well as with self-esteem.
Okay. First, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. All Made Up by Jay is a mobile makeup business where I actually go to all of my clients and I give them the full VIP experience at home. I bring it all to them, and the goal is to enhance the beauty of the person that I'm working with, not to recreate them, and make them feel beautiful. And to me, makeup is important because if you look good and you like the way you look, you feel good, you know, no matter what's happening. And this beautiful lady has the whole package.
Yeah,
So-
she does. Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, it all comes from, obviously, from within. But when you see yourself and you look amazing and you feel good about,
Yes.
then I mean, my job is done.
Yeah.
Right.
And she looks amazing.
She does. She's
So
beautiful.
I have one more question for you. How has your self-esteem moved up?
Oh,
Would you-
it's,
has it
it's
moved
still
up?
moving. It's
still
still
moving?
moving. It's still moving in levels that I didn't even know that I was down in.
Okay.
You know, because you just get into that comfort zone, and it's still moving. And it's like Miss J, she couldn't even put my bottom eyeliner on because just the whole thing, I was tearing up because I couldn't believe this was me. I just couldn't believe this was me.
Well,
So-
it is.
It is all
Yeah.
you.
All
Wow,
you.
stunning.
All you.
Well, thank you. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
It's gorgeous.
Absolutely. You are
But
welcome.
it has opened up.
Good.
It has.
So tell us about the Unmasking Conference that's coming up August 10th in Dallas, Texas. That's where I will be doing a mini show.
I'm
tell
so
us about the
excited.
conference.
I'm so excited. Women Like Us is hosting the Unmasking Conference in Dallas, Texas on August the 10th. We're focusing on helping women to unmask, pulling back the layers that have been in their lives all their years, for them to know that they're beautiful, to love themselves, to start becoming who and walk boldly into what God has put them to be. It's going to be amazing. We got some amazing entertainment, amazing food. You're going to be there. Thank you for coming. So we got some celebrities
You
that's going
told
to
me
be
I had
in
to be
the-
there.
Yeah, I
You
did.
kind of threatened me.
I did.
That I had
It's okay. But yeah, I did.
You did. But
Yeah.
we're looking forward to it.
And
We
we're
are.
looking forward to, I mean, it's going to be amazing. So you can go purchase your tickets on our website, which is www.womenlikeusinc.org, or go search us on Eventbrite, the Unmasking Conference.
All righty then. So guys, when we come back, we will have my fire poet, Miracle. And she's going to close out the show for us.
Nice.
We're back, and I want to thank all my guests for being here for this self-esteem show. We had a awesome time. We're going to close out the show now with our fire poet, Miss Miracle. She will be doing a poem called Self. So until next time, guys, always empower, always encourage, and continue to remove your mask.
Us women, I think we forget that everything you do in life starts with self. Like, if you don't gain self-control over your emotions, you'll find your feelings drowning in an ocean of tears. We forget that self-destruction will make us crumble into an eviction. I am writing for the woman, from all of the women inside of me. You are worthy of a crown, with the ability to rule self-esteem by placing a cap on what lies in between your thighs, but screw it tight enough so he doesn't have the opportunity to screw you as he please. See, this is the power of knowing your self-worth. self-worth. It is impossible to self-heal if you keep letting men touch your open wounds. How do you feel at night when he only calls you to say, I'm coming through? Or better yet, how do you feel each morning, scrubbing away the smell of sex like scrubbing a carpet stain, because mentally it stays? There are too many women hiding their pains in between their legs. Too many women painting their eyes with self-denial. See, I've heard stories of women creating self-abuse from poisonous relationships. Run. Run as if your obituary is chasing you. Did you forget that mama told you there's nothing free? But it's crazy how much we practice self-hate without a license. Like how we stand in front of the mirror having a self-talk with our reflection, but never do we embrace our self-image. Yet we race at heart speed to count our flaws and imperfections, then doctor ourselves into mental surgery with the imagery of what we think we should be. Did you know that self-love be the best love? Or that self-preservation be the act of protecting yourself from toxic people? Or that self-realization will keep you away from false realities? See, society will attempt to strip away your self-knowledge. Do not bend. Stand up straight and embrace self-confidence the same way you grab hold onto your covers on sleepless nights, trying to prevent from a self-break. This be the poem to keep us women self-motivated. Because you are a package to be treated with self-care, as if your heart is just as fragile as the glass that shatters. You don't come with a label, so you gotta teach people how to treat you, but that starts with you. So put some self-respect on your own name. Thank you.